your boy Joe Johnson 030 with another spoiler filled review with my boy Sam SEL0320 here representing JVS. I'm sorry, do you want to introduce yourself? Alright, well, I had the pleasure of introducing this guy, SEL0320. Y'all know him. The famous, the renowned, no, I'm joking. But, you know what I'm saying, awesome guy. This character, he knows pretty much all the lore and backstories for most of the characters that we love. But yeah, with no further ado, we're going to get in this thing. What do you say, Sam? Let's talk about it.
Wow, that was all you for that whole time. That was awesome.
This is a good intro, right?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So the name of this episode is A Bitter Pill to Swallow. I want to give y'all a heads up. There's going to be spoilers involved. Sprinkled into this review. I really like this episode to start off the bat. There was a lot of key things I wanted to say about it. Notably, definitely Penguin and Edward Nygma.
Has to be the highlight of this.
Like, that is the favorite. That's my favorite part of this episode because we've seen Edward spiral ever since his first kill. You know, like when he killed the police officer or whatever, like he's just been spiraling, and it gets to a point where it's like now he's trying to, get, Penguin back up to par. But in more ways than one, he wants him to be the old Penguin that he was. Like, he wants him to be the killer. And it's funny because, like, Penguin kept on asking, like, what do you want from me? Why are you protecting? He's like, well, I've got a kind of a problem. Like, I've been killing people, and I've kind of killed, like, maybe 3 people, and, like, I kind of like it, and I want to do it more. And it's, like, it's so funny. Like, his cues, like, the guy that's playing Edward Nygma is probably playing the best version that I've seen. I mean, I know Jim Carrey's is off the wall funny, and then even like the animated series version was pretty cool. But his metamorphosis is so challenging to watch because it's like I don't have to sit there and watch him be like the good Edward and the bad Edward. Like they're literally blended in. Like there's moments where I see him just kind of switch, and then there's moments where I see him kind of like have this really dark humor. And it was so well done seeing the dialogue together. That was my favorite part of this episode. Like it makes the episode to me at a higher level because you would never expect those two to not only get along, but there to be really good dialogue between them. Did you want to go into a little bit of that? Or what was the favorite parts about that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and talk about that. I'm gonna talk about Gordon.
Okay. So at a certain point, Penguin basically tells them that he's done. Like, his mother's gone, he's grieving, he's upset, he's lost his will to kill, essentially. And, like, Edward keeps on trying to find ways of cheering him up, getting him on, egging him on. He even presents a guy that worked for Galavan on a silver platter, just like, kill him, give him a knife. He wouldn't do it. And one of my favorite points that Edward had made to him that, I mean, only a psychotic person would see it this way, but I can understand what he meant. It's basically, he played a little tune that Penguin had kept on saying in his sleep, and he was like, my mother had, said this to me, and she said that I was a perfect little boy, like don't worry about what other people think about you, basically. And Edward basically said, like, Galavan, you said to me that you're weak. Because of your weakness, that's the reason why your mother died. You're right. He's like, your mother basically was your liability. And Penguin got bucked. Like, he got up with him with the knife in his hand at his throat. And Edward just stayed, like, he didn't even care, bro. It was crazy. He basically said to him, you now are the same man that you were, but now you have no weakness. You have nothing that will hold you back. You have nothing that can be lorded over your head anymore. And it's so sickening to actually hear. But from the world that Gotham is and how Penguin is, it's true. That was his only weakness, and now he has none. So it's like, to see where that's going to go is like, I mean, a taste and bitter part of it is when they kind of were just hanging out and laughing and stuff like that. And Penguin was like, you still got that dude? Basically, like, I'm ready to take the hit now, basically. I was like, I loved, like, every second that I saw that part. But yeah, go ahead, Joe, about the Gordon part, because that was really interesting, really compelling.
Yeah. So like, basically, Gordon is pretty. He was pretty. He was pretty hardcore this episode, man. Cause, basically, so Tigress at the beginning of the episode, Tigress, she goes to this kind of like this club that's underneath a bar, and pretty much it's like a league of assassins.
You know, I was thinking John Wick.
Yeah.
That's the same group.
Yeah, I mean that. It looks very similar. It's very similar to that, and even the like the setup, the style of like the setup's the same. But yeah, so she, you know, she goes to these assassins, and she's trying to get Gordon killed, basically. And the lady who's actually hiring, pretty much she's a middleman or the middle woman in this case. She's pretty much assigning these assassins to go after Gordon. And so she sends the first guy.
That was a good fight.
It was actually a pretty good fight. And so all these fight scenes, they take place at what was it?
It was the crime scene. It was at Galavan's place.
Yeah, it was at Galavan's.
They were trying to find
penthouse suite.
They were trying to find evidence of what Galavan had been doing.
Yeah, because like Gordon and his chief, they pretty much go there and they're looking for evidence, you know, because he's now locked up. So the first assassin actually meets Gordon in the elevator when he was going up to Galavan's penthouse suite, and they're fighting in the elevator. And then because you'll catch it in the previews. Like last week they previewed this episode and this like fight scene. They showed clips of this fight scene or whatever, and you see Gordon do the backflip off the wall to get out of the chokehold there. So Gordon ends up beating the man down, drags him in the penthouse there with his chief, and there's another officer there, and basically, but this is the beginning of their trouble. So the assassin, he's still alive, but he's pretty beat up, and he says, the person who hired me, they have a strict policy. If the first guy fails, she just keeps sending people out until the job's done, which is crazy. So the second team actually goes up there, and they actually see him on the surveillance cameras, and they're actually shooting out the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. So Gordon and pretty much all the officers up there, they're pretty much expecting a second wave of assassins.
Well, it was only 3 people. It was like Parks, the lady, it was a guy that was like a forensics guy, his captain, and Gordon. That was it.
Yeah. But, I mean, so they're expecting a second wave of attackers here, the second wave of assassins. And they actually pretty much locked the door. Initially, we're thinking, okay, clearly they're not going to go through the front door. Like, nobody's that stupid to go through the front door. So, and sure enough, there's one assassin goes in the back, down the stairs, and actually takes out the forensics guy. And they actually so the forensics guys got them distracted. Then the other assassins blow the door down and actually fight and tussle or whatever. At the end of that sequence, the captain actually gets stabbed trying to save Gordon. He gets stabbed in the leg. He's bleeding out pretty bad. But at this point, a little bit before that, the captain was like, "Okay, we should go. We should go get backup because clearly gonna keep sending assassins. So we have to get out of here." But Gordon was like, "No, we still have to find evidence." Gordon wanted to stay the entire time and wanted to hold his ground. That's why he was so bad at this episode. But one of the assassins that was knocked out for a little bit, they got out, stabbed the captain. So they couldn't go anywhere. Now, at this point, they had no choice but to stay there. And then after that, there was another one.
Well, I mean, there was one thing I want to talk about.
The Pink Flamingo.
No, not even that. I mean, to summarize, I don't want to tell y'all the whole entire episode, but there's a point where basically Gordon and the captain, they're having a conversation about the line. And I think that was one of the most strongest dialogues because the captain has been so like straight arrow, you know, and you see him in action. I'm like, dude, this is Vic Mackey incarnate all over again. I love the Shield. And to see him back in action, Michael Chiflis, he was doing a great job, great acting. But the dialogue sequence between him and Gordon basically was like, he described a situation where he was on his third tour and like he was by himself, he couldn't see anything, and there was a guy that was detained, it was a boy, had a gun put in his mouth, and like he pulled a trigger. Like he had lost himself into it, and he realized that he was just a man. Like a man pushed the wrong way can do anything. It's not a, he basically said there's illusion perspective on the line. There is no line. And that was one of the most strongest aspects about the episode that I really liked as well. But yeah, I mean the Flamingo, Eduardo Flamingo, if you look up the DC comics or if you look up the 52 comics, this is a serious villain. And not only is he a cannibal, but he's strategically good with weaponry and hand-to-hand combat, and I mean, he gave Gordon the business. I mean, that was an epic fight. I was just sad about the fact that Parks died. I was like, we finally get an officer, African-American officer. She seems like she was holding her own. And then at the end, I mean, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. That was one of the things that kind of made the episode decrease for me, because I was like, well, what if she actually makes it through? You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's an asset to the team, because I mean, their SWAT team's pretty much gone now, right? Almost everybody's dead, because the last guy got killed with the raid from Penguin's thing. Remember the girl? She was up top and she killed him when he was sniping.
I missed that episode. Yeah, I missed that episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but nah. I mean, I thought it was a really good episode. Anything more you want to talk about besides Bruce? Because we can go into that real quick, and then I guess we'll finish out with giving y'all a score.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the whole Bruce part, I like the fact that Alfred is aware of what Bruce is doing. Because, I mean, there was points where Bruce is so desperate to figure out who, you know, killed his parents. Like, he's willing to talk to this girl, Silver, again. He's willing to go and defy Alfred. He's losing himself, basically. There were moments I was sitting there, I was like, this is a real Bruce Wayne, you know, like going back and forth between darkness. But it took, I guess to me, like Selena to come in to really kind of pick up the pieces for that. Do you think that Eduardo's going to show back up? I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
So, like, did you want to mention that part of it? Because we didn't talk about how it all ended with Eduardo.
I mean, he's arrested. For sure.
No, I mean like the fact that Gordon almost blew his head off.
I mean, there's kind of like two parts with that, man, because Gordon was definitely about to kill him, but he, you know, I was telling his captain he didn't want to cross that line or whatever. The line, but even when Eduardo was in the back of that squad car and he gave like Gordon this look. Like, oh, like you're gonna see me again. So I knew from that, like it wasn't over. But even when he was talking with Lee and he was like almost crossed the line, and then Lee answers his call, and he gets the news that Parks is dead. You know, he definitely feels a weight, or that he feels responsible, because
he could have, you know,
he could have prevented that.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
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 So what do we give this episode? Number 1 to 10.
Oh man, I give it an 8.
You give it an 8. I think I give it actually a 9. I really loved Edward and Penguin. I didn't think they'd be able to pull it off right. I really loved the dialogue between Captain and Gordon, and every sequence that Gordon was in. It was awesome. Same thing with Edward, and even like I loved how Alfred stepped up in this episode. He really defined himself as being Bruce's real guardian, as opposed to just making rash decisions. As well as Selena, I think that she's going to show him something. I think that Selena actually saw who killed his parents. I think she's just been keeping that secret, because she just kind of told him she didn't see it. But I felt like after she got almost killed, almost assassinated, she kept that on the low. So I think she's going to be the one to tell Bruce. But we'll see. Stay tuned for us, I guess, next week. Yep. Peace, everybody. Everybody go look at Supergirl. Maybe. Probably not. Later.